my children had a birthday party, kids' birthday parties, which I feel like is basically 80% of my weekends.
You're constantly going to birthday parties. Yes.
I've got 2 kids. They've got different sets of friends.
Right.
Constantly birthday parties. So we had a birthday party over the weekend. Super fun. But we got there, and it's this very narrow street in the hills. So I had to park sort of, not blocking anybody's driveway, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Got the gifts out of the back. As the tailgate is automatically closing, it closed on one of the plants, the neighbor. So, of course, I don't want to screw up the plant. So I open it again.
Back of your car has eaten a plant.
It has. Yeah. And I tried to pull the plant thing out and it closes again, and it catches another part of the plant. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And so I'm dealing with this.
Yeah.
And my kids are over with my wife standing off to the side. And I walk back up. My wife said that my oldest, Max, said, Daddy's having a shitty time with the tailgate in the car.
Nice.
That's literally what he said to her. And I was like, so what happened? She goes, I just laughed. I was like, great.
Of course.
Positive reinforcement.
Didn't want to come back and help. No.
Quiet, please.
No.
Let Daddy deal with that.
It was great. Daddy's having a shitty time with the tailgate. Like, he's not wrong.
4,
He's using the words correctly.
Sure.
2.
The Company presents a truly terrible podcast. Welcome to Nonsense, episode number 22. I'm Jeff Parker.
And I'm CJ Little.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, we'll chat a bit about how the world has almost ended, and then we'll discuss if social media is actually dangerous for children.
I think it's a yes. Can we just skip the segment now?
It's National Olive Day. Do you like olives?
I love olives. What are your favorite olives?
Here's the only reason I bring this comes to mind is because you made some bread that had olives in it.
Yeah.
That was just
amazing.
The most delicious thing I think I've ever eaten.
Wait till I get to the olive ciabatta I'm going to try soon.
Oh, and then there's like a zillion kinds of olives.
Yes.
I used to live near a Whole Foods store.
Yep.
My favorite thing was the olive bar. Oh,
yeah.
I'm
just go over there with like a 5-gallon pail.
I might have to bail on the show right now. I might just have to bail right this
Footsteps,
second.
door closed.
Yeah.
What are your favorite olives?
Kalamata. I like Kalamata.
Right?
I mean, I like so many kinds. I like
green olives.
There's so many olives that I like. Yeah.
I have a great olive story I haven't told.
There should be an olive week. A day is not enough to celebrate the olives.
You need a different olives.
Yes.
Like a black olive, a Kalamata olive.
Right.
You just spread it across the whole week. You want to be universal.
Could easily
for the
do that.
I'm in. I haven't thought about the story in a long time. As a child, I remember discovering olives and really just liking them for the salt.
Yeah.
And for some reason,
an olive is 90% salt. I mean, you're meaning globs of salt.
Yeah. My hypertension is doing great.
Yeah.
I remember I couldn't have been but 5-6 years old. And I remember discovering a jar of olives at my grandmother's house. In the basement where we would congregate. And for whatever reason, I sucked the pimento out of like 30 olives.
Because you like the pimento?
I guess. And then got ill.
You're sure?
I'm not sure I've ever had an olive with pimento since. I just remember,
Why did pimentos make you ill?
I think when you eat, like I literally ate a jar of pimentos.
Yeah,
I think that was the problem. I don't think it was the pimento, it was the quantity of the pimento.
Sure.
Anyway, that's my olive story.
My grandfather's favorite joke
was,
especially to kids, in the car, he would pull over where there would be an olive tree.
And?
Kids, you put olives on your fingertips.
Sure.
Because when they pit them, and you just love olives as a little kid. Yeah.
Yep.
And he pulls over and he points to the olive tree and goes, you know what that is?
No.
That's an olive tree.
Okay.
Have you ever had a fresh olive?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to go try a fresh olive.
Your grandfather was a prick.
Have you ever tasted an olive off the tree?
I mean, I know not to.
It's the most awful thing you will ever put in your mouth.
This is the farming equivalent of being like, you like chocolate? Oh, there's that baker's chocolate. Go get a big chunk of that. Put that in your mouth.
No, this is worse. This is much worse even than that.
How many times did he get you on this joke?
He actually never got me because he got my sister and I watched.
You learn.
Anytime you can do your learning vicariously, I recommend you do that.
Sibling.
Yes, exactly. But and the problem is the taste of that olive before it's cured, you bite into it and everything and you spit it out. You can't get that taste out of your mouth for like a day. It's awful.
Yeah, $20 is $20. I know that feeling.
Anyway, happy Olive Day.
Happy Olive Day. What else is today?
Today is also a Global Day of Parents.
What does that mean?
But also it's a celebration of parents. I mean, we're the most over-celebrated, self-congratulatory group on the face of the earth.
So wait, let me understand this.
Our lives are so hard because we're parents, we think.
Well, I mean, you've been to my house with my kids.
I know, but everybody's lives
So the
are.
Olive Day is only national.
Yes.
But the Parent Day is global.
Correct.
What body governs the global days?
The days?
Is that the UN?
It must be the UN. I'm pretty sure it's the UN.
It's together.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
I'm sure there's a special meeting of the UN just to figure out the days. By the way, we have a Father's Day. We have a Mother's Day.
We do.
Why do we need a Parents' Day?
For them together. I don't understand what to do on Parents' Day. Have you gotten me anything?
The whole thing just makes me weary.
All these days. This is all the
No, Olive Day doesn't make me. No, I want Olive Week.
You're fine with Olive Day.
I'm great with Olive Week.
You only want days of things you can eat legally.
Well, I'm okay with that. No, actually, and this next one that I'm going to give you is actually a very cool one too. It is the first day of LGBTQ plus Pride Month today.
Yeah, it's June. That's right. I didn't think about
it's
that.
It's the first day.
Yes, it should be every day.
I hike my canyon, as you know, in the morning every day.
Not a euphemism.
And I take my dog, and I have to have my dog on a leash for the first part of the walk. The second part of the walk is off leash.
Okay.
I have that I use every June a rainbow colored leash. That's really,
great.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
Anyway, it's the first day of Pride Month. It's also Notch's birthday.
Notch.
What did I say?
Notch?
I hope I said Notch.
I put a question mark at the end.
Oh, let me do it again. It's also Notch's birthday.
Yep. Still not sure who Notch is. Thanks, though. I'm glad we're talking.
Okay.
The last thing I knew about a notch was the thing on a 5 1/4 floppy. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Was it the birthday
It's the
of those?
birthday of the
punch?
Notch. It's the birthday
Notch punch?
The guy who made Minecraft.
Oh, his name
Did you
was
ever
Notch?
Did you ever play Minecraft?
For
He
like
lives
a minute.
right here in Beverly
Does
Hills.
he really?
Yeah.
Is his house 8-bit?
Because
That'd be spectacular. You can tell from the outside.
Because he got all the money when Microsoft bought it.
$4 billion fucking
And it
dollars.
all went to him because
Yeah.
it was like all
Good for him.
his thing. Oh, great
Good for him.
Great for him. But nevertheless, did you play a lot of Minecraft?
Not
Have you
much.
played much?
Kind of missed
Minecraft
it.
is
Super
super cool.
Yeah. I'm assuming I'll get very good at it when my kids are a little older.
Yeah. I have a friend who actually was working on an open source version of Minecraft. It's not called Minecraft. It's called Minetest. It's way better than Minecraft. Oh, yeah. It's really cool. Anyway, should we get to our headlines?
We should.
Rimac Nevera EV sets 23 world speed records.
Now say it faster.
I couldn't.
It's pretty good. This thing's crushing it.
This is an EV that is blowing away gasoline-powered engines or whatever you pass, whatever you...
Doesn't matter what it's powered.
Yeah,
Nuclear power,
however you...
It's still faster.
Yeah.
Yep, jet turbine, still faster.
Do you have a lot of cars that are jet turbines?
Jay does. Jay's got a jet-powered. He's got a jet-powered motorcycle. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's got a plate frame on it, literally that scrolls text that says, "Please stay back. Extreme hot jet wash."
Sure,
so funny.
He's talking about Jay Leno.
Sorry,
the comic,
my
who's,
good buddy
who
Jay
collects all sorts of.
Did you just refer to Jay Leno
Yeah,
as the comic?
that's what he is. That's what he thinks of. First and foremost, he thinks he's a comedian.
Sure, but I think most people don't know him as Jay Leno the comic.
But Tonight Show probably is not how Jay wants to be remembered. He probably wants to be remembered as one of the best stand-ups to have ever lived.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Certainly changed stand-up comedy for the better in a huge way.
Is he still doing Hermosa Comedy Magic Club?
Yeah, I think so. I think he still has to do it every week.
Still has to do it every week. I guess keep warm.
That's his first line when he comes out. He says, "Oh, that contract. Never should have signed that."
That's really funny.
Yeah,
One in
I'm
blood.
so sorry to steal the line, but it was such a great line.
funny.
So the car would go
0 to 400 kilometers per hour back to zero.
Yes.
In the same amount of time, actually in less time
Right.
than the McLaren F1 can do 0 to 350 kilometers per hour.
and back to zero.
No, just 0 to 350. No
The
braking.
McLaren has no braking on the side of their.
Once they go, they run away forever. Wow. No, the point is, let me explain this to you.
Thank you.
So the point is that the Rimac can go from 0 to 400 back to zero in less time than the F1 could just get to 350.
Oh, that part I didn't understand. I thought the
insane.
F1 was getting back to zero.
No, that's a big part of this car. It's so amazing.
So
It's how
not
quickly
only
it
does
can
it accelerate really fast, it
Yes.
decelerates
Yes.
super fast.
Yes.
Is it incredibly light? How is it doing this?
I'm guessing they're doing it through a lot of regen. You're doing you're
sure.
doing software braking and all the wheels.
But when you're getting speed records, what do you care about regen? It just doesn't matter.
well, no, but that's how they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
It's all in software. And the McLaren F1,
23 performance world records.
it's like they're all the speed records, like 0
And by
to
the way,
60.
this is not a specialty like a concept car. They make 150 of these.
Yeah.
This is like a production car.
I
How
think
much
you
are
bought
each of these cars?
I
It's
think
only
they're
150.
$2.2 million.
Okay.
Which is really not bad to get that sort of performance.
No, yeah, you should buy me one.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting us matching ones, black and white, like
be
spy
nice.
versus spy.
Sure.
It'd be great.
Minnesota governor vetoes pay raise for drivers after Uber and Lyft threaten price hikes.
But I believe the law was putting in a minimum for wait time and miles.
Yes.
For
getting Lyft drivers more money.
Yeah,
Even if you're stuck in traffic.
Yeah, look, I think that we had the system before. That was the yellow cars. What were those called?
Taxis, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
it didn't work out great. It wasn't great for us.
Yeah, but the nice thing about the Uber and the Lyft that the taxi never had was I don't have to call a dispatcher
Sure.
and wait 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I hit a thing on an app and in 30 seconds a guy pulls
more
over and
efficient.
says, "Are you Steve?"
Turns out, yeah.
And I say, "No, but yeah, I'm getting in. Yeah, of course I'm Steve. Let's go."
So what the governor said was something to the effects of, we need to work together for both rideshare companies and drivers.
Yeah.
Something that works for all of them, which I agree
Sure.
with. And what I think is kind of...
You have nothing if the drivers aren't making enough money, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
You have nothing if the riders don't want to pay for it either, right? I mean, so it's a double-edged sword. I just think
I'm always getting out of my Lyft or my Uber and I'm saying, "Ooh, this really needs to cost more because there's..."
Sure.
And I know the company is losing money for sure. I just don't want the drivers because they're not calculating in wear and tear on their car a lot of times.
I mean, I got to believe that it's not that bad. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Like
I
at
think
some
there's
point,
an awful lot of people bad at math.
Oh, I know that to be true.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's like restaurants. Everybody thinks they've got good recipes and they can open a restaurant, and
No,
then
don't do
they'll
that.
price their steak at $4 that actually is kind of costing them around $40 to put out. And now everybody has to be in competition with that price that doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Something interesting, somewhat related to this. I saw recently a video of, I think it was in Lebanon. It was Uber in Lebanon.
Yeah.
And because the currents fluctuations are so great, they don't know how to price them. The native Uber app there allows you to pick your price. So it basically shows you a grid to bid.
I like that.
Which I think is great. Yeah. And I don't think they should replace the entire Uber system. Yeah, just part of it.
That's fabulous.
It should be like Uber X, Uber XL, Uber Black. Sure. And there should be like an Uber bid.
And when I'm in a rush because I've screwed something up, I can just throw money at the problem and solve it.
I think you end up getting some emergent behavior that's not great, which you already have with Uber, like people just waiting around for those bids. Yeah. And that's part of the problem is then it would destroy the sort of commodity side of Uber, which is part of what it's supposed to be. Like I have this now. I call Ubers at my house. Yeah. The human being will call me and say, where are you going? Right. And I'll be like, dude, you're not supposed to ask me that question. Like it doesn't matter if I'm going to LA. I get that, but the only way it works is if you deliver rides for everyone. Yeah. Right. Now I get if I'm booking a 3-hour ride to Vegas, I get that you might want to be grumpy on that. But if I'm going to the Getty Center or LAX or Burbank Airport, you don't really get the pick.
All of which are very close to your house. Totally. So no one would ever turn you down for those things.
All the time. If you start making the rides selective, then the service does not work. I won't use the service.
I kind of like the Lebanon system, though. There may be some...
Doesn't work for everybody.
You might need to work that out, some details of that. But the idea that I could literally...
I think it needs to be a tranche. It should just be a tranche. And if it's a tranche, it makes a lot of sense.
The idea that if I got myself into trouble, I could literally throw money at the problem. That would be really useful.
I mean, the public got so grumpy around surge pricing.
Yeah, but this is voluntary surge pricing.
Sure. But even surge pricing I thought was great because it manages the supply-demand curve.
Yeah, but in that case, it's like everybody's paying the surge pricing.
No.
So it doesn't get me a car any faster.
No, it did. It did. It absolutely did. Because the thing, if you didn't have surge pricing kick in, there was so much demand, there'd be no supply. So the point of surge pricing was to keep the supply-demand curve balanced.
Right, but everyone's paying the same surge pricing. I'm saying if I can bid on it, and I really need to be somewhere, and it's really important to me, I can solve that problem. I can change the queue.
But they are loosely related. Your version is a giant hammer that you put over the top to say, I want to go from here to there, which
and it's not going to happen often, but when it does happen, I really need it to work.
Totally.
Man faces up to 10 years in prison after arrest for opening plane emergency exit door.
Yeah,
You've seen the video of this,
I have.
Right? Oh.
Yeah, that's not how you get out.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. He was feeling claustrophobic.
So of course, us being the aviation podcast that we are, people ask me, I thought, they say this shouldn't be possible.
I agree it shouldn't be possible. I'm with those people.
So here's the thing.
I have a childproof lock on my car door that allows me to keep the door from opening.
That's just to keep you from jumping out and buying ice cream every time you pass a Baskin Robbins.
Well, I don't think that even slows me down.
Probably doesn't. Right through the window. Teach you. So here's the thing. You cannot open these doors when the cabin is pressurized. Period. Full stop. Of course. So if you're 30,000 feet, this does not work. Right. Crazy guy can't open this. Sure. Of course. Now, the challenge here is they're on final approach.
Yeah.
So they were a couple hundred feet off the ground.
700 feet.
Yeah. He just went ahead and popped the door open. I guess it's not like he was having a bit of a panic attack and wasn't in a very happy place.
And he was sitting next to the door, so he was able to do that.
But here's the thing. I don't want a lock. I don't want some other mechanism that is going to keep me from opening that door when I actually need to. Yeah. I'd rather have the one in every 200 billion air miles guy.
Well, let's see if there's any imitators of this guy.
I don't think imitators.
Because I might like that lock. Yeah. I might like you to childproof the doors.
Well, if I'm sitting next to you and you're reaching for that thing on final approach, I'm definitely putting an elbow into your throat.
But you're never going to. This guy just did it all out of the blue. Nobody had any advance warning.
Like he was fidgeting with it, and I think once people see that this is possible, know that it's going to happen, they're going to be a little more eyeballing on them.
For sure.
Asiana stopped selling seats in the exit row next to the doors.
I get it.
Which I feel like is not necessarily an overkill, but what do I know?
It's an expensive thing for them to do. It's whatever that.
For sure.
It's those seats are expensive. Yeah. And this is at 700 feet. You've heard about the fuselage ripping open at altitude.
And that is one of the main reasons why I always keep my fucking seatbelt on.
Oh, always. If you are not up, going to the bathroom or doing something where you have to be out of your seat, seat belt in.
Just go Google turbulence videos and watch people getting slammed off the ceiling of the plane.
Watch a plane drop 800 feet.
I'm going to go ahead and keep this on.
Yes, you're going to really appreciate that.
Because that's not the vomit comet, that's the concussion comet, and that's not what you want. It's way less fun than the vomit comet.
You will get smashed up against that ceiling so hard.
Yeah.
But other than that, aviation's great.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Favorite way to travel. I always bring an umbrella to shield me from the air.
Biden administration wants Europe to reject forced payments from big tech to ISPs.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're doing this.
Explain to me exactly what this is.
Net neutrality. I mean,
big tech is like what? YouTube and who's a big user of data?
I have no idea what big tech is these days. That seems like a moving target.
Meta, Facebook.
The gist of this proposed ruling or this proposed law in the EU is they're looking for large sort of imbalanced consumers or users of bandwidth. And they define it as anybody that uses more than 5% of a provider's bandwidth.
Right.
So this is a very small handful of companies.
By the way, those people who are using 5% of the bandwidth, those people are the reason your people are buying your ISP service.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, right? Like without them, your service,
they're the draw.
Exactly. Like, good job. You got GeoCities. Nobody gives a fuck.
Who cares?
Like,
right.
So this is only, maybe a couple dozen companies at most that this could ever apply to.
Yeah.
This is like,
5%.
5% by definition.
20.
It could be 20.
It can't be more than 20.
It could be exactly 20 if you nailed it. Good job. Thanks. If you want more math lessons from Jeff Parker, please subscribe at math.jeff-parker.com.
I have a newsletter.
Yes, a newsletter. This week's edition. So as Jeff astutely pointed out, this could be no more than 20. I would argue it would never be exactly 20.
Okay.
19 might be a reasonable upper bound.
Okay, fine.
Anywho, it's not that many companies. This would be like Google for YouTube, Meta for
somebody who's using
Instagram.
A lot of data.
Yeah, TikTok, things like that. But what I really disliked about this particular piece of proposed legislation is that the ISPs,
Internet Service Providers,
said, well, all that happens after this 5% threshold is crushed is crossed is that you have to come negotiate with us.
Right.
And I'm like, no, get fucked. Like, that's just you holding a gun to people's heads.
Yeah.
And again, not that this would happen, but if YouTube was just like, okay, rando ISP, and
we're not paying.
Well, we're not paying. Also, like, so just don't pass our traffic.
Right.
Like, what do you think that's going to do to your customer base?
Your customers are going to hate you.
Yeah. Like, that's not going to end well. And that's not a us problem. That's a you problem then pretty quick.
All those big tech companies are US based.
Yep.
Those ISPs who want to get paid for that traffic,
based.
They're all EU based.
And that's why I think this will probably end up, something like this will go through.
And it seems very likely this will go through because
protectionist.
That's exactly.
Yep. We would like more of the US money over here.
Okay, enough with the headlines. Up next, CJ is going to talk about the time scientists thought they may be ending the world.
This is real. Like, actually thought the world is going to end. Not like idiots on Twitter running around.
Yeah.
These are real people with real brains that said, if we do this, it might be the end of everything we know. So do you feel like we've sort of had the sword of Damocles hanging over our civilization for, I don't know, the past 80 years?
Why the past 80 years?
Since we invented the nuclear bomb.
Well, sure.
Right?
Sure, of course.
So we've always been on this brink of just everything being over.
Yeah.
Like, that's at least what I think was preached, especially during the Cold War.
Oh, all the time.
Constantly, right? So, and then you also have...
I'm not sure that was preached wrongly.
No, not at all. Right. No, that's real, right? I mean, it's like the first time as a civilization we came up with a thing that we could use against each other that could potentially end all of it.
That was a huge experiment that happened to kind of work out that could have really gone wrong. And so I'm not saying that it's an experiment that turned out with sunshine and roses. It's a horrible, horrific thing. I'm just saying it could have been that way worse.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, still could be.
Yeah.
Good news, that chapter hasn't been written yet. There's this great argument that the reason we've never been able to speak to or find another civilization, the reason another civilization has never reached out to us, is this thesis is that any civilization that would become advanced enough to be able to sort of explore intergalactical communications
has already ended their world.
Already killed themselves.
Of course.
Right? Which is, if you think about it, it's like, yeah, I believe that really more than anything.
That's
that
kind of a scary thought, but yeah.
Like, instead of putting our energy towards new things, we're like yelling at people that the earth isn't flat.
Right.
And that, your 5G signal's not going to go up and you get the shot. Like, that's the shit we're spending our time on. Not all of it, but a good chunk of our time.
Can't we just ignore the people who are saying the earth is flat?
Oh man, it's hard. They get in the way of stuff and policy and doing things because they have their own fucking agenda, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't read those books.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Right? Like, all that shit just slows you down.
Enormous
it's just
amount of people who don't believe in freedom of speech.
Tons of just friction and
people
sand.
who don't believe in TikTok yet believe in freedom of speech. Wait, what?
I feel like that was an attack. I believe I've been attacked, everybody. I'm gonna prepare a very strongly worded letter. I'm gonna send to the management or whatever this show is. So I'm not talking about the mutually assured destruction that we've had since the Cold War.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about global warming, which could potentially end civilization as we know it.
It will.
I'm not talking about the tired dictator alluding to using these global weapons when his, quote, special military operation goes sideways.
Right.
None of that. I'm sort of more thinking about the concerns that people have of like AI getting out of the, quote, lab and killing all of us. Right. That's like something people talk about half in jest, half not.
Yeah, not going to happen, but sure.
Today I want to talk about a couple things that we as humans chose to bring into existence full on knowing that it could kill us all instantly.
Yeah.
And this was fascinating to me, right? So the things that typically kill species, at least on this planet, have been like natural disasters, right? Volcanic eruptions or meteor strikes, solar flares, right? Like these are things that have completely defined periods of time on the planet. And then of course you got like man-made accidents.
Anything that's going to bring about an ice age.
Sure. Yeah, right. That's typically
going to be a problem.
Typically bad. Yeah. Bad for us. Fine for bacteria. Bad for us. And what's fascinating to me is like most of these species-ending events have really been avoided because of luck. Like natural disasters, like you're not doing much. Like I saw the movie Asteroid, not going to work.
Right.
Like if there's one barreling towards the Earth,
nothing you can do.
We're just all going to get really stoned and do a lot of fucking, and then that's the end. Like
that's a nice way to go out.
100%. What else are you going to do?
Lovely.
Like you guys, you go over there and pray.
Sure.
I'm going over here where all the chocolates are.
Exactly.
Have fun. All right. Like enjoy.
Andromeda Galaxy is heading toward us. It's eventually going to collide with us. We will all be dead because the planet will be uninhabitably hot. So all those things are going to happen.
Next time I get on an airplane, I'll find the hottest chick on the airplane and be like, hey, look, Andromeda's coming closer. We only got one shot at this. It might happen before we land.
Well, no.
Why are you holding onto your pepper spray so tightly? I'm so confused.
Also, why are you trying to open the door?
Totally. He was just trying to get away from the guy next to him. Sure. The guy next to him was talking about shower rings the entire time.
I'm out of here. I don't care if we're 700 feet, I'm leaving.
If I ever decide to pop the door at 700 feet, that's exactly going to be my answer. Sure. I'm going to be like, this fucking guy next to me has been preaching about his fucking religion. I had to get the goddamn shit out of here.
You sit next to him.
You sit next to him, exactly. I'm going to prison. You sit next to him. I came across this excellent article in the BBC that goes into detail on these at least two occasions, at least in the past century, when a very small handful of people have held the world's fate potentially in their hands.
Yeah.
These are like real possibilities, not hyperbole, not conspiracy theory bullshit, like real things.
Yeah.
And the two that I want to talk about, the first one is extraterrestrial contamination.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Sure.
So this was a big deal. When we were planning to send people up into space, we had never done it before.
Right.
This is not that long ago.
Who knows what they're going to bring back with them?
So you sort of had two problems you had to think about. You had forward contamination. So that was the problem of bringing shit from Earth and contaminating what you're going to, namely the moon. But you'd argue, well, that's a them problem because what do we care if we fuck up the moon?
Right.
Not very nice of us. But then you had this back contamination, which is them bringing something back.
Sure.
This was a real issue, right?
We didn't know.
We had no idea. This was a real fear that NASA needed to take seriously when they were planning the Apollo missions to the moon. If they brought something back dangerous, they didn't know that the probability was high, but that there could be life there that we've never seen before. It was non-zero, yeah, for sure. Sort of one of the quotes from a scientist at the time was that while they're pretty sure that's like 99% that they're not going to bring anything back, there's that 1% that we still need to be sort of concerned about.
The 1% can end the Earth, so you might want to take it seriously.
Exactly.
Sure.
So it seemed like, and I don't know exactly, I wasn't around at the time, but it seemed like NASA might have been being a little loose with this. So the U.S. Public Health Service argued for stricter measures, and they pointed out that they had the power to refuse border entry to contaminated astronauts.
Oh my goodness.
Is fascinating to think about, right?
Floating out there in the ocean 12 miles away from
you left
the
the country.
Right.
You need us to let you back in. Sorry. Man, talk about a power move on that. So this actually went to Congress, and after congressional hearings, NASA agreed to install a costly quarantine facility on the ship that would pick up the dudes after they splashed down in the Pacific.
Probably a good idea.
And it was also agreed that lunar explorers would then spend 3 weeks in isolation before they could hug their families or shake the hand of the president.
Sure.
So that was like the compromise of like, okay, hey, we'll keep an eye on them, make sure everything's fine.
That's not an unreasonable compromise.
I didn't think so.
If you don't know what they're bringing back.
You're going to space for the first time.
Right.
This seems like a reasonable compromise. But as it turns out, there was a little gap in the quarantine procedure.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah, when the astronauts splashed down, the original protocol stated that they should stay inside the spacecraft. But NASA had second thoughts after concerns were raised about the astronauts' well-being while waiting inside this hot, stuffy space as they're just getting hammered by waves.
Sure.
Right? Like bobbing out in the ocean.
You'd get sick and cooked.
They decided to just open the door.
So much for protocol.
And retrieve them by raft and helicopter.
Whatever they brought back with them is now we all have.
Just out there in the ocean.
Sure.
It's going to be fine. And this was a real concern because there could be some crazy bacteria there that now is going to eat the entire planet.
Could kill all the fish while they're out in the ocean bobbing around. I mean, you don't know.
And maybe that was their plan all along. Who knew? Or they're just like, oh yeah, we'll open the hatch. And then, oops, like you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Right. Something that came out of this, by the way, as a quick aside for all my car buff friends, the landing mass of the Apollo 11 was just under 11,000 pounds, which is bonkers to me because like my truck weighs 9,000 pounds.
Yeah.
They got to the fucking moon on a 9,000 pound truck.
On a thin shell of metal.
Man, that's crazy. Like you're basically inside like just a very nice little wrapping around a baked potato. That's
you're right. I was going to say it's tinfoil.
Don't poke it like the Jiffy Pop when you bake on the stove. Don't poke it.
Because as soon as you poke it, it's over.
Yeah, you're done. Now, fortunately, the Apollo 11 mission brought back no deadly alien life back to Earth.
That you know about.
Catastrophe avoided, right? We did not bring back...
As far as you know.
As far as we know. Well, there are still rocks. There's a whole bunch of lunar rocks still sitting in storage.
And that bacteria might take a little while to come back to life.
It's being distilled.
Right. Maybe it takes 70 years to come back to life. And it will just come back and jump up and get you.
I feel like that should be like a variant of all the Outbreak movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the rocks, like now they're having conversations with the rock. Okay, so that was the first time that we had like humans making decisions that could possibly end the world. It was the first one I want to talk about. Now let's go back in time another 24 years before this.
Okay.
Right, so think like 1945.
All right.
You want to take a guess what it was?
Hitler.
Close. A little later.
Japan.
First atomic weapon test.
Well, that would be Japan related,
so
sure.
Japan adjacent. It was us.
Yes.
Japan. Yes. As it turns out, the test was in the Bikini Atoll, which is Beverly Hills adjacent.
Isn't it?
It's West Beverly Hills. Southwest Beverly Hills, I think is what they refer to it as.
Sure.
Bikini Atoll or whatever it's called.
Isn't that what got us in the mood to create the atomic bomb?
Yes, got us in the mood. It's exactly how
war tends to get you.
We're all just sitting around worried about the stock market coming back, and they're like, you know what we should do? We should try to annihilate the entire species. Well, wouldn't that be fun?
All it takes is somebody to blow you up, here or there, or parts of you, and you get pissed off.
Well, I think actually the inspiration for this was Einstein, wasn't it? Einstein was like, hey, they're building this thing. We can build this thing. But nobody
was going to throw the cash at it until there was need for it, until there was actually...
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we can't write the check fast enough.
Yeah.
By the way, the day before, we had no interest in writing the check.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't build a lot of bombs during peacetime.
These things aren't free.
No, well, not anymore. Before the first atomic weapons test in 1945, scientists at the Manhattan Project performed calculations that pointed to a chilling possibility. In one scenario they plotted out, the heat from the fission explosion would be so great that it could trigger runaway fusion.
Of course.
So that means the atmosphere would be on fire.
Right.
Burn away all the oceans, destroying most of life on Earth.
You have no idea when the decay of this is going to happen. At what point does this reaction stop?
But can you imagine being in the room? You have this technology that's this massive, something we've never seen on Earth before. And then the guys are like, well, if you carry the one, we're all dead.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, fuck, do we test this? And you can't really test it at small scale. At least I don't think they had a way to test it at small scale. You also didn't have the time. Even the day of the Trinity test flight game, the officials they were still looking at the numbers, right? Still several double checking the scenarios, and they just decided to go ahead with it because like YOLO, I guess.
Well, apparently you only live once briefly if you're wrong.
Exactly. Real briefly. And then this is the part that was fascinating to me. So when they dropped this bomb, right? This is the first nuclear test ever in the world. The flash was longer and brighter than expected.
Okay.
And at least one member of the team watching it thought that the worst had happened. And this was the president.
I can't believe everyone didn't think that's happened.
Well,
I mean, that's
again, at least one. I've chosen my words carefully here.
Why does that not jump to mind immediately going, oh, look what we've done?
So the president of Harvard University, his initial awe rapidly turned to fear. And his granddaughter later said that not only did he have no confidence the bomb would work, but when it did, he believed they had botched it with disastrous consequences. And he was witnessing, as he put it, quote, the end of the world.
Right. Like it will never stop. This will
like
keep,
we're all dead.
Yeah, this will just keep regenerating. This will just keep reacting.
The philosopher Toby Ord from Oxford said that this was a significant point in human history. He sort of dates the specific time and date of the Trinity test as like a new era for humanity, right? By a step change, like because now we have the ability to literally destroy ourselves. We couldn't do it, at least not easily before.
Not in scale, right?
Not in scale, exactly. A couple of the points that he made I thought were great. Despite the rigor of the Manhattan scientists, those calcs were never subjected to peer review or any disinterested party, right?
Okay.
It was, I get it, different time, war machine.
But also really good brains, really thoughtful people
arguably
on that
the
team.
best. Now, were they incentivized to achieve the thing? Yes, but they also weren't being fast and loose with like...
I think all of them could have walked away. If anything had gone in their minds a way that they didn't want it to go, they were all very comfortable walking away.
Now, he did highlight that in 1954, scientists got a calculation staggeringly wrong in another test. Instead of an expected 6 megaton explosion, they got 15.
Wow.
That's a big oopsie. Now, he's even said, he's like, it'd be a mistake to conclude from this that the risk of lighting the atmosphere was as high as 50%, but it wasn't zero, is his point, right?
That's always the issue.
Anyway, so Ord, and this is sort of how I wanted to bring this a bit of ahead, Ord estimates that the risk of human extinction in the 20th century was around 1 in 100, which seemed kind of high.
That seems really high, yeah.
But you had Cuban Missile Crisis, you had mutually assured destruction, like you had things that would do it. He believes it's even higher now. So in addition to the natural existential risks, the potential for human-made demise is just ramping up all over the place. And he's,
from what? What is he? So, what are his big fears?
So he's got like nuclear threat, right? That's always been there. You've got the prospect of a misaligned artificial intelligence, carbon emissions that are way up.
What's the artificial intelligence going to do?
Well, no, but he's also saying biology, right? Like now that we're fucking around with biology and having viruses that could be far more deadly than before, there are things, risk, not specific ones, but more increased risk. The part, though, that he said that really got me to take a pause is he said more scary is that we've demonstrated just how vulnerable we are by global connectivity, misinformation, and political intransigence.
Yeah.
And then this sort of goes back to my point with ByteDance. I get that they're not doing it, but I'm just like, oh man, you've got this pathway now to be able to do it. Now, point in your favor, doesn't fucking matter who owns it if you want to influence it, right? Twitter's owned by, has been owned by U.S. investors.
And you can buy all the data.
And you can, well, not just buy all the data, you can seed all the shit in there that you want, right? So 100%. You can buy it, seed it as you want. So Ord says,
that actually happened with Facebook.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Cambridge Analytica, right?
Correct.
Ord said, given everything I know, I put the risk this century at around 1 in, you want to guess?
10.
1 in 6.
Oh, even
Russian
worse.
roulette, he writes, right?
Even worse.
He's like, if we do not, this is in a direct quote, if we do not get our act together, if we continue to let our growth in power outstrip that of wisdom, we should expect this risk to be even higher next century and each successive century, which kind of goes to that.
But the nice thing about misinformation as opposed to like an atomic bomb or a bacteria you're bringing back from the moon is it travels a little slower. There's a little more time there to correct course
than nuclear fission.
Correct. Correct.
Not a lot of things are faster.
Right.
I mean, maybe that Riemann Navarre might be a little bit faster than that, but not much else. Sure. There is a little bit of happiness.
There's a small bit of safety in that you can change course when you have more time.
This is what I think actually was probably one of our and I think this what gives us that ability to change course is something along these lines. And this is a AI researcher. I'm going to screw up his name. Eliezer Yudkowsky once wrote, quote, even faceless corporations, meddling governments, reckless scientists, and other agents of doom require a world in which to achieve their goals of profit, order, tenure, or other villainy. If our extinction proceeds slowly enough to allow a moment of horrified realization, the doer of the deed will likely be quite taken aback. If the earth is destroyed, it will probably be by mistake. Yeah. I loved that quote because to me it was like, if you let people actually see what they're about to do, most people's instinct is not to be the supervillain.
Correct.
Most people's instinct is to be like, I kind of like this, what we're doing here.
You are going to get somebody who's mentally ill who just decides, I'm opening this jet door.
Oh, wait.
That can happen.
Don't care about the jet door. I'm worried about the other mentally ill guy not too far away from South Korea. That's
right, of course.
Currently just being like, well, we really like this peninsula. We really think we should keep it. And I got all these weapons over here I could fire at you. And it's like, dude, maybe that's not the idle threat you should be making. So anyway, let's do our best not to destroy our civilization.
I love that you have told this story. I think this is very interesting. But I'm glad I didn't tell this story because you always accuse me of having the darkest stories.
I know. I'm like, I wanted to give you a new bar to try to
you have just
end of civilization
completely.
No, this is a happy story because this is when people got together and said there's a chance, but we don't think it's going to happen.
Let's still do it. There's a chance. Come on.
Fine, won't tell anybody. All right. Well, up next, Jeff's going to talk about the effects of social media on kids.
There are none. It's fine.
I mean, is this going to be a more uplifting story than the end of the world? I'm trying to give you a low bar.
You know what? It actually surprisingly, when I started it, I thought it was going to be terrible. As dark could be. It actually doesn't end up being that dark. Yeah. Let's go for it. What is the right age, do you think, for young people to try the various social media platforms? And let me exclude YouTube.
Okay. Curious why you're excluding YouTube. We'll come back to that.
Well, YouTube is considered social media. But
because of comments? If you turn off comments, is it social media?
Yeah. So I think that's a little different because you're going to get education.
You're saying like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. This is hard. I got little kids coming up, so I got to start thinking about this.
This is why I'm bringing it to your attention.
I would say probably not before they're 60. Mid-60s, maybe?
Mid-60s
would be good.
All right, good answer. That's the segment.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go mid-60s, you're going to have no problems. You're going to be just fine.
No problems at all. Well, no, you're going to have a bunch of Amish kids running around. That's what you're going to have.
That's exactly right.
They're like, Daddy makes me churn the butter. And you're like, yeah, get back in the kitchen. No, you can't. I mean, especially as a technologist, right? I got to have them pro-technology.
Right. You do have to have them living in the modern world.
I'm well behind you on this, obviously, since my kids are a lot younger. Yeah. But I do think about the difference because I grew up with technology before that was the thing kids did.
Yes. But there was no social networks. It was completely different.
No, there were BBSs. I mean, that was a social thing, right?
Right.
It was different. Not everybody was on it. It was just nerds.
Much more limited.
It was a start. But here's my point. I try to separate between using technology for learning and technology for entertainment.
Correct.
And technology for entertainment I try to avoid.
Well, but on YouTube, there's things that are very entertaining too. And by the way, there's a combination of things that are entertainment and education in the same video.
That's the kind of stuff I try to find.
Yeah.
There is some really terrible, creepy content on YouTube. I can't pinpoint why it's creepy.
Yeah.
But it's like these really poorly made animation that like really bad overdubs. They have no message to them. There's no story. It's just like, I am a train.
Right.
I go choo choo. And I'm like, what is this? Like,
and then there's Mark Robar, who's making the most hilarious, creative, the brilliant content that's full of education.
Yeah, but that is the needle in the haystack for sure.
But it's a pretty big needle because he's making, a lot of really
he does make a lot of content.
Great videos. He does one every month, and each one is like amazing. A home run.
Yeah, like 200 hours of work.
Really impressive. Okay, so eliminate YouTube. Because, your kid's going to learn math at a young age. Sure. Most of these social media sites have a minimum age of 13 years old. Yep. Most parents allow the kids to just blow right through that. You can have your Instagram account, you can have your Discord server account, whatever the thing is, you can sign up for it at a much earlier age.
Yep.
What do you think the appropriate age is? You're going to face this question. By the way, it's going to be different for every kid.
Of course. That to me is the real answer. Just like I don't think you should be voting at 18 and drinking at 21. It's different for there's not an arbitrary age where you magically hit some time frame and you're like, oh, I'm 18 now. Now I get to do these things.
Right.
Like it doesn't work that way.
By the way, you don't want your kid to have his first drink at the age of 21.
Sure.
When he's nowhere near you.
Of course.
So if he gets into trouble, there's no one to take care of him. There's no one to get him to the hospital quickly.
We do the same thing with desserts. Like we never want dessert to be a prize, something that they can't have. So we serve dessert with dinner.
I always say, I want my kid to have his first girlfriend who breaks his heart while he still lives under my roof.
Sure. Yep.
So that I can keep him going and telling him this is okay. And he can go through that experience once that that first experience is the end of the world.
Yep.
So you get the idea.
Yep.
Are you going to give me a time here?
You know what? I don't really know.
What are the signs? What are the earmarks of signs that your kid is ready for social media?
I mean, I think how they interact and process with it, how it affects them would be something that would be important to me.
Think about how fast the first 5 years of Max's life have gone by.
Totally.
And now think just doing that again, which is another blink of the eye.
Yep.
That's the age when a lot of the parents are of Max's peers are going to start letting him be on social networks.
There's not an age mechanism. It's more like how's he doing socially IRL?
How does he do in the lunchroom socially?
Yeah. I mean, right now he's like the mayor, but that I think is because he might be related to me. I'm not sure.
Right.
But and then seeing how they respond. One of the biggest challenges I think I'm going to have with this, and again, we'll see when I get there, is I don't want to be hovering all over. I don't want to be like nanny state.
Right.
But you also want to know what's going on.
Right.
So it's like, how do you bridge those two things?
Well, the Surgeon General has just issued an advisory about risks teenagers face.
Okay.
And you'd think that would be like school shootings and bullying and disease or neglect. Absolutely not. His entire report is about the profound risks social media pose to teenagers' mental health.
Yeah.
This is from the New York Times. In a 19-page advisory, the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, noted that the effects of social media on adolescent mental health were not fully understood and that social media can be beneficial to some users. Nevertheless, he wrote, there are ample indicators that social media can also have a profound risk of harm to the mental health and well-being of children and adolescents.
I find that easy to believe.
He's going to say he's not wrong.
Yeah. Just thinking about in a pre-social media world, how kids could gang up on other kids just in like a locality, right?
Oh.
20 kids in a class.
We're about to do a list of those things.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick. Chime in with your thoughts where you want.
I will.
Dangers can include comparison. Think of all the Instagram influencers or TikTok influencers, and you're comparing what looks like that the life they're leading and how it compares to the life you're leading and what their boyfriends and popularity or, whatever.
Well, yeah. And like filters and makeup and all the things you're like, I don't look like them. This makes me less of a person.
You quickly can get feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem.
There's a bunch of shitty influencers that live like in my general area. And I'm like, dude, I see you're rolling around in an Aston, but I know where you live.
Sure.
Like, trust me, that is some fake propped up shit right there because you like to slam milk jugs into each other at the Whole Foods.
Comparison can lead to depression, eating disorders, and all sorts of problems that come from social media. We've seen what happened with Instagram. And by the way, Meta knew it was causing depression in teenage girls.
Yeah.
And they just kind of hid that fact.
Sure.
I mean, there was a whistleblower who came and told us all about that.
Yep.
Distraction. Social media can be a major distraction. It can make it difficult to focus on schoolwork, other important tasks. It can displace things like sleeping, exercising, and spending time with friends in real life.
Yeah, I see an equal pro to that as well.
Right.
You spend time with people that you can't spend time with in person, that if you didn't have that.
So the New York Times carries the piece. The Surgeon General thinks social media is a profound risk to teenagers' mental health, right?
Yep.
The next day, the very next day, they have a piece entitled, "For one group of teenagers, social media seems a clear net benefit."
Yep.
LGBTQ.
Yep.
Again, you're talking about geographically, you have a small group.
Locality.
Right.
And nobody to talk to that looks like you, sounds like you, talks
There's lots of people who aren't like you, and you can connect with somebody who is like you, who can talk you through some of the problems of adolescence for specifically being you.
Your friend group was a selection of proximity. You get exposed to a larger universe. Locality doesn't really matter anymore.
Here's a quote. "It's a lifeline for folks to receive information and to see that they are really not alone.
Yep.
And there's so many people like them."
Yeah.
Anyway, Heather Kelly wrote a piece in the Washington Post about what parents need to know about social media for kids that gives a lot more detail than time will permit here. Be sure and check it out.
All right, I'm in.
Now, here's my question for you.
Oh, boy.
What about preteens? What are your thoughts on preteens and social media? You want to just keep them off? Because
I mean, again, I can punt
that's hard.
I can punt it and say, you sort of know when you see it. If your kid's ready at 10, I don't care. But what is ready
There
look
were an
like?
awful lot of kids who were in school with my kid who were allowed on because their parents wanted them to be able to be social.
Sure.
They wanted to be able to connect with friends and be popular, whatever they wanted them to be. And those kids weren't ready.
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing you can do about somebody else's kids.
I do wonder, again, I don't know because I'm long behind you.
It's going to go so fast. You're going to see.
Yeah, I know. You want your kids to be social. Yes, sir. I get that. But like I send them to school with a group of other kids that's curated for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't send them out to the public. I don't send them to like the airport and be like, go make some friends. Although now that I think about it, that's not a terrible idea. All right, Max, they're doing American Airlines. See who you can find.
Preteens is a even bigger issue.
But if you have, what I was getting at.
You're going to get so many, you're going to see so many of your kids' peers are going to be allowed to be on social media who really aren't ready.
I mean, I think I'd be okay if they were in that peer group. I don't care what the mechanism is, if it's in real life or digitally, if they're in that peer group.
But that's not what's going to happen. There's going to be tons of kids.
I know. But I'm saying like if you had like a jitterbug phone that was just like in this, all you could do is talk to people in this group.
If I could create a fantasy world too, I mean, I could create a perfect scenario too, but that's not what happens in the world.
I don't know, but I really don't know how to answer your question for preteens. I don't know. I mean, it seems
hard.
Like,
it's really hard.
It seems like if you had a world that was, quote, safe, that was with people that you knew.
I know, but you don't have a fictional world. You have the real world.
But there's no reason you couldn't have that. You couldn't have some apps that do those things.
How do you feel about tracking what your kids are looking at on the internet?
100%.
You're for it.
Tracking whom? Tracking for me? This is where it gets complicated. I don't want to be the nanny state. I don't want to be watching them all, but you also kind of need to know what's going on. I know what books they read at home because I've bought them all.
Sure.
I'd like to know what they're checking out of the library.
And there's a physical thing sitting on their desk that you can see.
Totally. But knowing my kids, they'll cut the middle out and hide shit inside it. Cheetos.
Sure. Oh, I like that.
Where'd you get the Cheetos? And Max just cuts out the inside of the page with an X-Acto knife. That'll totally be him, 100%.
In the Encyclopedia Britannica, would you pull out, exactly. M and just Cheetos pour
just
out
everywhere? Yeah, it's like the spicy ones are in volume 12.
So you are pro tracking. I don't know. Your kids.
I think you have. I think you have an obligation to know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
But you also have an obligation to give them some modicum of privacy. So I don't know where that line is.
When your kid gets his license, you're going to have another one you have to face, and that is: do you want to connect him into your Find My Phone so that you can track always where he is?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, I think
how much privacy do you want to give your kid?
Yeah, I think that should be a thing.
There's a program, it's called Life 360 or something like that allows you to track, every little thing your kid does and alerts you if your kid's speeding. I mean, you get tons of detail from this thing.
Mine will always be going off.
How much of that information?
Dad, it must be broken again. Like,
how much of that information, are you entitled to with your kids?
Like there's a path on this, right? Yeah. Like maybe the answer for me, and again, I'm really not sure. Maybe the answer for me is I'd feel better about the tracking if it was a two-way street and they knew what I was tracking. Meaning, like if I go pull up you on Find My Phone, it tells them, hey, Dad's looking at you.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like that enables some bit of trust. Just be like, dude, I'm not going to look at it unless I haven't heard from you in 3 hours.
But I also think it's a little bit like we were talking about alcohol, where you kind of want to give them a little bit of leeway before it gets dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
So you don't want to track everything all the time. You do want them to have little bursts of freedom so that they can, make mistakes or whatever and correct them at a young age while they're still in some way that you
Nothing
can
in
help
life
them.
should be a hard edge. Hard edges are not optimal, right? You want the gradual, try it out sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Even then in their 20s, they're going to make, big mistakes.
Of course. We all did. That's literally experience.
Yeah.
Good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. That's how it works.
It's true. It's some truth to that.
You have to make mistakes.
I preach to my kid this left and right. Please do most of your learning vicariously.
Sure. As much as you can. Outsource it.
Make your life as easy as possible. There's a great ability for you.
Delegate it.
You can literally talk to the dead and learn from their experience with this magical thing called reading.
Totally.
Do as much of that as you possibly can.
Sure.
You can save yourself all kinds of heartache if you just do your learning vicariously.
Totally. Yeah, that's right.
All right. We have to get out of here, but quickly before we do, have you seen or read anything good last week?
Yes. I watched Rio with the kids. It was actually really fun. Have you seen Rio?
The parrot movie. Yeah. No, I saw 10 minutes of it.
It's fun.
And then I fell asleep.
Liked it.
I'm sure it's great, by the way. The problem is when you have kids, and I know you know nothing about this.
No.
You are just beyond exhausted at all times. And when the lights go down and the movie starts, it's just really nice to drift
off. This is 100% true. It's like the first movie I've ever watched with them.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I picked it. It was just something, they were sort of a little rambunctious. We'd come back from a thing, we put it on. I slept through the first 15 minutes.
Oh, sure.
And then woke up and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun.
And especially if there's other parents there. So, one of you can be the designated awake person.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not going to fall asleep. And then the rest of you are like, oh, I'm going to catch a good 80 minutes here. This is going to be nice.
Yeah. That was fun. It's a fun flick. How about you?
I'm going to recommend Schmigadoon Season 2. It's called Welcome to Schmicago, which is a parody of these great musicals. In this case, Schmicago. The musicals are darker and sexier and usually aren't tied up in a neat, happy ending.
This is great.
It's really good. It's an incredible cast, great songs, so much fun.
What's it on?
Apple TV Plus.
What's he paying you? How come I don't get any of this love?
You would think,
I understand.
Right?
You don't even use an Apple phone, for Christ's sake. You use an Android phone.
I do. But Apple TV Plus is great.
Is Tim giving you one of those $1 trillion?
Yes.
He said, we got three now.
I get one of the $1 trillion.
Just one. How are you going to live on that?
That's the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense. A truly terrible podcast from The Awful Company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm Stu Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like it. Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or our favorite, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Podcastindex.org. Special thanks to our floor director, Tony Von Pervier.
Thanks, TVP. We'll be here every Thursday morning for more nonsense. Please join us. Dunzos.